So you've got an electric car and that means you need EV specific tyres, right? No, wrong. Anyone who's telling you that, walk away from them. They don't know what they're talking about. If it's a tyre company shop, tyre fitter that's trying to upsell you on EV tyres, do some research and educate yourself before you pay the additional premium for EV tyres. Let me run you through a few of the facts and figures and bits and pieces so you can get a better understanding. Straight up front, I'm going to apologise if this gets a little bit ranty. I can't help it. So if we jump onto some of the manufacturers' websites, Michelin up front, they tell you why they claim that electric cars need special tyres, and it talks specifically about the extra vehicle weight, the torque and the noise and the battery drain, or the efficiency of how inefficient some of these tyres can be, and some of them can offer more resistance. But then, you know what? All Michelin tyres are suitable for EVs. It's not that they have one specific line of EV tyres, but they admit that all of them are suitable. So where does that leave us? Bridgestone is a similar thing. Sorry if my head's in the wrong place. Bridgestone, it's a similar sort of thing. Increased weight, reduce the noise, and then the torque that comes with it. They actually minimise the claim of efficiency in Bridgestone's case. Continental, again, it's the same sort of claims that they're all making. Pirelli make the same. Kumho, Fulda, Hankook, you name it, all of their websites, it's all the same thing. And this is the summary of the claims. EVs are heavier, EVs produce more torque, EVs need the increased efficiency, and because EVs are quiet inside, you notice the tyre noise more than you would on a normal internal combustion vehicle. So is there any merit to these claims, and how much of a difference does it actually make in the real world? So here's a few examples, and some of this you may look at and think, wow, that's a bit extreme, some of the examples I've gone for here. But as you can see, my own MG5 is about 1600 kilos. There's another vehicle that's exactly the same size as mine, which is also 1,600 kilos, give or take a couple, and that vehicle has a lot more torque than the MG5. Now, I know this will be a questionable one, but we'll come back to that. The Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive is about 2 tons. The Porsche Cayenne S is heavier, and that's the base model Porsche Cayenne that is heavier than the Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive, and that once again has more torque. So when we talk about the instant torque from electric vehicles, that is true, but really there is the potential that electric vehicles can deliver more torque more rapidly to the tyres without feeding that power in. But it's very much to do with our right foot and some of the software calibration, and we're seeing that more and more in EVs. Some of the first generation ones, they were quite brutal, and a lot of wheel spin on some of those front wheel drive cars, a bit scrabbly, and more, a lot of the EVs have they're feeding the power in a lot smoother, and so you don't have that instant connection between your right foot and the front wheels. They drive more like internal combustion engine vehicles. Now, of course, that's all down to your control and your driving style. If you drive like a maniac, you're going to eat through tyres. That's the case for internal combustion engine or EV. There's no difference there. If you drive like the vicar on the way to church, then you're going to get much better. So if we have a quick look at an example tyre, this is a 225/55 R17 tyre, a very popular size used on lots and lots of vehicles. You can have a quick look at the load rating, which is this number at the end here, if I'm circling in this Hankook Ventus, and then you can also see the speed rating. So you'll notice that all of these 101, 101, 97, and some people are saying that EV tyres need to have a higher rating, but once again, they're all 101. Doesn't really matter which one you look at. For quick reference, this is what the difference is. A 97 rated, weight rated tyre is 730 kilos per tyre, and that's 2,920 kilograms overall, spread over the 4 tyres, assuming that there will be a perfect weight distribution in the vehicle. And compare that to a load index of 101, which would be 825 per tyre and 3,300 kilograms for the vehicle overall. It doesn't matter how much you're going to load up your 2-ton Model Y, you're never going to have a 3.3-ton Tesla Model Y. A load index of 101 is more than enough, and we're not looking at EV specific tyres here. And the different letters here, you've got a W or a Y. In case you weren't aware, that's the speed rating, but these days it's pretty much irrelevant for us here in the UK, because if you want to get the Y rated, you could drive up to 186 miles per hour. If you step down to the budget W rated ones, then you can only do 168 miles per hour. What a shame. Worth paying the extra just in case you want to up it from 168 miles per hour up to 186. I think this point somewhat goes to show how over-engineered modern tyres are, and even the basic ones are so over the top for what we use them for. Unless you're going racing and unless you are incredibly enthusiastic when you're driving in the wet, then any tyres are going to do the job for you, and it's just up to you to decide which you prefer. For me personally, the one aspect that I look at more than a lot of these other factors is the noise. I'm a lot more conscious of noisy tyres and quiet tyres on an internal combustion vehicle, but also on an EV. We can see in these ratings over here that this Goodyear tyre is 70 decibels, the quietest tyre here. So I would be drawn to having a look at that. It's not the most expensive tyre, it's also not the cheapest tyre. But we could have a look down here and you can see that also some of these budget tyres seem to perform very well on the EU ratings. And so even we've got 70 decibels, 72 decibels. The range is relatively small. All modern tyres are becoming quieter and quieter. Okay, so let's talk about efficiency then. So you can go on to the VCA website. This is the section that we need to pay close attention to because it's about tyre labelling. And it talks about, first of all, in terms of rolling resistance, there is a 7.5 degree loss, 7.5% loss of fuel economy between the best and worst class for a full set of tyres fitted to an average car. The tyre labelling regulations rank tyres on a scale from A best to G worst on both fuel efficiency and wet grip, whereas external, we don't need to worry about noise for now, we'll come back to that. So the difference between A and G is potentially a 7.5% loss. But everyone quotes this, and you can find this on tyre websites absolutely everywhere. But is this even relevant? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, the EU dropped the F&G rating since May 2021, so they're only rating tyres between A and E now anyway. And a quick scan on Black Circle's website and also on Tyre Leader, have I got it up here somewhere? If you put in for most sizes, you won't find any vehicles that are rated below a C for efficiency anyway. It's this little one here, fuel consumption, and you can see the vast majority A's, B's and C's, and it doesn't matter if you're going for super cheap or super premium one, there are complete mixes of A, B's and C's everywhere you look. But you won't find any E's, and there's occasions where you might find a D. But it doesn't really seem relevant to worry about the 7.5% difference between A and G tyres because we just can't even buy D, E, F, G tyres anyway. So it would be better if they showed what is the percentage difference between an A to a C tyre. Now, I thought this was an interesting way of demonstrating it. You can download this from the EU website, and this is a little calculator with some macros in here that can help us understand what the actual difference would be. So you put in up here the current tyres that you've got. Let's say we're going from C-rated tyres up to A-rated tyres, and then you put in how you drive. You put in your annual mileage, which is 10,000 miles, 16,000 kilometres. 5 litres per 100 kilometres is just over 40 mpg from memory, and diesel, and then the current price. And it shows that over those 10,000 miles, how much have we saved? We have saved a total of €50 or less than £40. So that's for a set of 4 tyres going from C-rated to A-rated. So will we ever see our money back? Is that money that's wisely invested in more expensive tyres? I don't know. Ultimately, we need to have a look at the marginal gains and the diminishing returns, and then we need to make a judgment. And it's fine if we choose to spend more money on more premium tyres, as long as we're doing so from an informed position and we're making an informed decision. The biggest factor for efficiency, it isn't the tyres that are on your vehicle, it's your right foot. You, the driver, your driving style, your driving habits. That is what is going to save you more fuel or save you more watts of energy from your electric vehicle than any tyre ever could. My conclusion for this video is just that you need to be informed. Don't let anyone pull the wool over your eyes. I'm coming to the conclusion that tyre manufacturers have spotted a market opportunity and they've seized upon it. There is some independent testing data around that does show you some of the marginal gains. Have a look through the Tyre Reviews website. It is an absolute minefield. They actually have this really good article about everything you need to know about the EU tyre label, which does show you how they measure the rolling resistance and how they label the tyres, and how you can see that there's not necessarily a huge difference between the A to C rated tyres. They also have a 2024 EV tyre test performed on a Kia EV6, and interestingly, not all of the tyres that they tested on here are EV specific tyres. I think there's one or two that are just regular tyres and still outperform the EV tyres in some areas. So it's an interesting read if you want to get really geeky and you want to get into the data of it. You'll see that the difference between the worst performing tyre and the best performant tyre in a lot of cases is actually very small in the real world. So if it's the difference between 4 miles per kilowatt hour and 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour, how long and how many miles is it going to take you to recuperate that cost? Apologies for a little bit of a rant, but I've seen online that tyres and the issue around EV specific tyres is one of the stupid things that the anti-EV brigade want to wave their flags about, and they want to try and beat us with a stick over ridiculously expensive tyres, when that's completely unnecessary and completely untrue. And so if we can continue to spread the message that actually it doesn't matter, any tyres can be fitted on any vehicle these days, and yes, if you buy the cheapest, least efficient tyres, you'll pay a small price in efficiency and sometimes in a little bit of your wet or dry grip, but those factors are exactly the same for petrol or diesel cars as well. Thanks for watching. If this video has been helpful, then give us a thumbs up. If you made it this far, then you probably want to consider subscribing to my channel, because I have loads of ridiculous insights and rants on strange stuff like this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.